this morning. What a lovely day, we're in one of our favourite villages. Over to the right of me there, behind me, you'll see the lodges. Wonderful place to stay, by the way. Never stayed there, but had a look inside, it's gorgeous. And right over behind me, way up at the back there at Loch Lomond, you'll see possibly a wee bit of Ben Lomond. It's well covered in clouds this morning. Now we're actually on the pier here in Luss, where they do quite a few boat tours, and we've previously mentioned Sweeney's. Sweeney's does boat tours from here as well. So anyway, let's go and explore Luss.
Look at the ice.
So my name's Rory. I'm one of the employees at Loch Lomond Leisure. I'm one of our many skippers, which is our main activity, the boats, the speed boats and the tour boat, which you can see out on the mooring just now. Now, during the summer we offer a multitude of activities. We have paddle sports sites on the beach at Luss and at Lomond Shores. During the summer we mostly focus on our boats, and we run things like pub tours, guided tours, things like that. On our paddle sports sites we do also offer things like guided tours, but it's a lot more, it's a lot more self-guided. We kind of let you loose on the loch to go explore, whereas with our boats, a little bit more help. We do a little bit of kind of tourist information, a little bit of history, geography, information about the wildlife on Loch Lomond. We offer a multitude of things like pub tours, kind of whiskey tasting and wine tasting, and we actually do a lot of wedding events as well.
I'll just give you a nice view across Loch Lomond there, and in the distance, dead centre, that's Quaint Hill. We may do a video on that later.
Well, it seems you found a yak on the lovely beach of Luss. Or has the yak found you? I don't know. Isn't the view out towards the water and the mountains just something spectacular? You can see the mountains and the reflection of the scenery on the water. Very calm today.
It's lovely, isn't it?
And very cold. Here we are with another spectacular view behind me, this time not on the beach and not as sandy, but just as beautiful nonetheless. Just there off to my right behind me you'll see the pier, and just behind it Ben Lomond, and then sloping down from that and back up again is the summit of Ben Eard, and then to the left of that still, Ben Breac, and finally, all the way to the left over there is the Highland boundary fault at Quaint Hill. You know, just before recording, the bear said Freddie or not, but I don't believe our names are Freddie.
Freddie or not?
I wouldn't happen to know about Freddie.
Great place to have a boat. Look at the water, look at that boat, isn't that lovely?
We're walking along the front of the loch, heading away from the pier, and the building that you can see in front of us now is an RNLI lifeboat station that's stationed here obviously, in case people get into trouble on the loch. Obviously, all manned by volunteers, of course. Good thing to have.
Yeah, definitely a good thing to
would
have.
you have to be to go for a swim in the loch in the winter, never mind the summer when it's already freezing in and of itself?
Is that you bringing up a challenge?
I hope not.
Okay, challenge accepted, let's go.
Oh no.
Not a chance in hell or heaven. Too cold.
I've been in during the summer and that was
Yes, it is cold. Loch's very cold.
nice
Still-
during a heat wave though.
Yeah, still fun when there's a
It's
heat
still
wave.
freezing in the summer.
That's what the bear man is trying to say. When you go in during a heat wave, it's refreshing because it's freezing cold.
Very, very cold. Luss is the ancestral lands of the clan Cahoon, who were granted these lands by a medieval charter by the Earl of Lennox, which the bear can tell you more about in a later time. They also were famed for refusing the MacGregors, yet another famous clan in Scotland, hospitality here by Sir Alec Cahoon. And because of that, the MacGregors then came and attacked Rostrow House. And so therefore their name became linked with Luss as well. Rostrow House was recently refurbished in the past 20 or so years and has been turned into one of the most prestigious golf courses in Scotland. It was Tom Weisskopf that was the engineer and the designer of it, so that's definitely worth a visit if you ever get up here. Behind me we have Luss Church, which is a very old church in itself, and above these lovely wooden gates here we have a nice inscription which says, "Let us into the house of the Lord," from one of the Psalms. Now, we also, in our St Serph's Church video, mentioned Robert the Bruce was tied to this area as well. Now, he fled here in 1306 after the Battle of Methven, which we could carry out first. And from here, there was a story of them sheltering under a yew tree, which was called Stook and Tabard. Apologies if I pronounced that wrongly. Translated as the Hell of Sacrifice. And from there, they fled east across the loch to where apparently Robert the Bruce sat in his cavern on Ruthven Island, which is off the coast of Ireland. And from there, this is where we get the story of Bruce and the Spider. The following year, he came back to Scotland in 1307 and was successful at the Battle of Loudon Hill. And over the next 10 years or so, he captured most of Scotland, and in 1314 he managed to completely rout the English army at the Battle of Bannockburn in 1314, and from there it was established that Scotland's independence was born again, shall we say, and ratified by the Declaration of Arbroath, which was acknowledged by the Pope himself.
Well, behind me you can see some of the amazing architecture of this church, this particular section having been rebuilt by Sir James Cahoon. That would make sense considering Luss is the epicentre for the Cahoons, as was mentioned by the unicorn. And I should mention, this bench is extremely cold. You can see the plaque mentioning the rebuild right there, and it reads, "Rebuilt by Sir James Cahoon I can't read that font, even though the unicorn said it earlier.
12th Baronet of Cahoon and Luss.
Yeah. Roman numerals, and there's one of the psalms under it. It says, Lord, I have loved the habitation of thy house and the place where thine honour dwelleth.
This is a lovely little village to visit at any time of the year. There are lots of lovely walks, as you have noticed. You have the pier and the beach, and this lovely little river behind me as well. There are plenty of places to park, and if you fancy something to eat, even, there are a couple of lovely little places that you can go to, one being the coach house and another being the village rest. So please do come and visit.
The bee school,
The bee school.
gift shop, beekeeping supplies, coffee and cake. Yum yum yum.
Yum yum.
Sounds good.
So did you go in there to do learn how to beekeep?
Looks like it. Must have plenty of stuff to do with bees and honey. Because it is the bee school.
Cambridge.
Cambridge.
General store.
Yep, general store.
General
Jack.
store.
Jack just saluted there because it's general store.
There's a guy just up in the distance there with a leaf blower. Bear and I were just joking about how it's a pity it's not blowing like gale. I would be able to make a reference to a particularly funny guy talking about some dumpling and 80 mile an hour wind we won.
And while we're at it, right in front, dead centre, another place to eat and drink. Eat and drink to your heart's content. Loch Lomond Arms.
As long as you're minted.
As long as you're minted. Okay, that was a joke. But still, as long as you're minted.
It's affordable for a night out.
Yes, it is indeed. Anyway, enough of that. And this ends our little visit to Luss.
Oh yes, and one last thing that we forgot to mention, Luss is the village that the Scottish television series that ran for a long, long time was filmed, called Take the High Road. If you haven't seen it, have a look for it in one of the streaming programmes and you'll really enjoy it.
Has anybody seen Dougal?
Bye!
I don't think the unicorn will be getting an Oscar anytime soon for that sarcasm.
Unicorn! Unicorn! Oh, for goodness sake. Oh, there you are, I thought you'd transformed.
The unicorn nearly transformed into a true form there. That was close. Well, I know I look like a character from some unmentionable game at the moment that features assassination. If this hood comes down over my face any lower, but on the bright side, we're back inside. Wow, I just said side twice in one sentence, there you go. A revolution. But anyway, we're back inside after a long cold day at the wonderful village of Luss. You saw yourself the explorations and antics that we all got up to while we were there. Interestingly enough, upon arrival on site, Bert and Wally themselves were there in the flesh, but we didn't have £4 to go and save them from the field, so they're left forever making tukus and a field jokes, I suppose. Either way, it was very pleasant despite being very chilly, and although it was not featured on the video while we were at the church, there were a couple of very interesting headstones dated to some very, very far gone times. I think if I recall correctly, there was one dated 1749 and there was also a Viking hogbag stone. I remember reading on one of the boards that was dated 1248, so just goes to show you the massive history of Luss with Scotland and all of its many, shall we say, incidences over the hundreds of years or even thousands of years that it's been Scotland for. Anyways, we hope you enjoyed the video and we'll see you in the next one.